And a pleasant good morning to you coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to Night Moves here for Saturday, February 28th. We're going to focus here and have a good sports betting day. I realize there are some pretty big things going on right now in the world. We'll send up our prayers to our servicemen and women as we're definitely getting involved in a little something here tonight. So cross our fingers moving forward. The U.S. is a pretty big favorite, so we'll just do our job here and go over the games for Saturday, NBA, NHL, college basketball, some of the biggest games in college basketball here on Saturday, and UFC Mexico City. Going to have a great fight card here on Saturday, and I'll have premium picks over at Tony'sPicks.com. We've got a good one here, flyweights with my man from Tijuana, Brandon Moreno, up against Loner Kavanaugh, a young Londoner who has a 9-1 career record and is a 24 DWCS grad. He's in here actually for Almabayev on about 3.5 weeks' notice. So Moreno, the former champ here, going to be a favorite, even though he's coming in off of a loss to Tatsuro Taira back in December, but should be a good one. Flyweights in action at the Arena CDMX in Mexico City on Saturday night, and I'll have premium picks for sure over at Tony'sPicks.com. Also a good co-main with the Chito Vera and young Mexican prospect David Martinez, top 10 bantamweight contenders there as well. Hopefully you had a good sports betting day there on Friday. Short card. We had plenty of winners here on the show yesterday. Hockey, man, did we win them all there in hockey last night? I think we did. We went 4-0 here. Hopefully you're ready for a big NHL card. Actually, I think I threw one game out because it's getting close here for the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to have to cut it off today. I'm going to have to make a point here and at least kick one game out. We're going to try to preview a bunch of games here. So sorry, New Jersey, you might be on the outside looking in, but I think we can look at every other NHL game today, but we should. After yesterday, how about it? Here on Night Moves. Vegas and Washington, we had that one under here on the show yesterday. Also, we had the under in Buffalo and Florida yesterday as well. We also had the over with Minnesota and the Mammoth yesterday, 5-2. The Mammoth crushed them there in that one. And we also had the Ducks. They got it done, 5-4 in that wild. Man, the Ducks, you talk about excitement. I mean, come on. They just beat Edmonton 6-5. They just beat the Jets and Hellebuck 5-4. Great job. Hey, great job by me. 4-0 here on the show last night on Night Moves in the NHL. And NBA was okay here, but the results were interesting, certainly, with the games yesterday. Detroit beating Cleveland there. Did have the winner premium pick. Both my premium pick, my NHL premium pick over at Tony's here was Winnipeg and Anaheim over. That was a winner. And my premium pick in the NBA last night over at Tony's, Brooklyn and Boston over. I think I talked about on the game here last night, right? Because we said take Brooklyn, of course, Boston, of course, to roll them. You know, we're going against teams in the tankathon, and Boston, I mean, has to still be motivated, right? So they got it done there yesterday. And also, maybe you got in there, hopefully, with the Nuggets game. We did have the over here on the show last night for another NBA winner on the show with the over with Denver and OKC. We saw Lou Dort get involved there with Nikola Jokic. Lou Dort probably has never been to a game in Serbia. How long do you think Lou Dort would last in a Serbian basketball game there? Well, I don't want to go into it, but a good game though last night between Western Conference contenders as Oklahoma City got the win there, a 127-121. And we also cleaned up on the board in college basketball over at Tony's. Maybe we should just go over the website and see what's going on with the handicapper leaderboards here. As we take a look at the winners here that I had on Friday, Siena and Fairfield, game total under, premium pick winner at Tony's. Also, Ryder and Iona under there, had that one as a premium winner here at Tony's Picks. We picked up a couple of college winners. Also had a winner in college baseball last night with the San Diego Toreros getting the walk-off win over the Michigan Wolverines, and won my tennis match with the books getting the win. Let me go over to Tony'sPicks.com. That's what we're here for, to promote our website over at Tony's Picks, a great team of handicappers every day sharing their best bets with you. I'm going to give you a bunch of winners here, hopefully on the show again, but really, if you want to get my best bets for tomorrow, you're going to want to go over to Tony'sPicks.com. You might see me on some other channels, on some other shows, but just know that my day starts right here. It's midnight here right now in Las Vegas, and I'm running my best picks over here at Tony's Picks every day. This is where I start with my strongest plays, and I work down from there. Yesterday, I was 7-1 here at Tony's Picks, so good for nearly 6 units. Steve Duncan, 4-0 yesterday. Tom Reghard, 6-2. There's Stax McKelvey, one of my partners here on the show. Also, DeAndre Stevenson. They combined to go 4-1 there yesterday. Great job to my guys. Brian Bittler, 2-1. Damian Sosh, 2-1. Joey Tron, 2-1. Shane Mickle, 2-1. Ron Crawford in the green. David Racy in the green. Last 7 days, David Racy up nearly 12 units. I'm right there, 6 3/4 units of profit. Number 2 on the handicapper leaderboards over the last week. Stephen Duncan back at it here in the NHL. He's firing here, up over 5.5 units. Nick Lagaretos over 5.5 units. Tony T up nearly 4 units. Mills Young tomorrow, UFC. Millsy's going to be coming at you with some premiums there. He's up over 3 units. DeAndre up 2.5 units this week. Joey Tron, Shane Mickle, Vegas Al fighting through it and picking up some winners here over the last 7 days. Hollywood Sam and Ron Hahn in the green. Last 30 days, it's Stephen Duncan on top, 21 and nearly 3/4 units. Nick Lagaretos up nearly 21.5 units. I'm up there, third in the month with 17 3/4 units of profit. Look at the record, 102 and 77. Working hard for you here. Make sure you get the subscription and use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off those premium pick packages over at Tony's Picks. Also, my long-term packages, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, are already on discounted prices. But if you get these day packages here, use that promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off the premium pick packages. Joey Tron up there, up 6.5 units over the last 30 days. Shane Mickle up nearly 4 2/3 units. Vegas Al up there. David Racy and Millsy up there as well. And so far in 2026, it's Stephen Duncan, Nick Lagaretos, myself, Al Ninos. Also, since the start of the year on the handicapper leaderboards, up nearly 9 units there. So check us out over at Tony'sPicks.com. You can go to the upcoming tab and you can see what everybody's lined up for here. The action on Saturday, of course, MMA here. There's Mills. He's got his plays here locked and loaded for the action on Saturday. So check him out over here at Tony'sPicks.com. All right, thanks for listening to that. And we're going to preview some of the games here right now for Saturday. Big card for sure in the NBA, NHL. NBA, actually abbreviated card. But We'll cover it here right now. Also, want to mention just a few more notes, though, before we get rolling. How about Miami of Ohio? There last night. Yeah, we had it wrong on night moves here. We had the total over, but still, we're talking Red Hawks win. With that last second shot, they were down 9 with 6:38 to go. Miami improves to 29-0 there with the win over Western Michigan. It wasn't easy. There in that one, probably the wrong side. Western Michigan was probably the right side the whole time. Akron also won, so they are 15-1 in the MAC. Of course, they lost to Miami back on January 23rd, 76-73. But great season there for those two teams. Michigan over Illinois in the big one last night. Michigan's 27-2, leads the Big Ten by 18 games as Illinois is just collapsing here late. Dayton over George Washington in a thriller, 68-66. Dayton led midway through the first half big and held on. They've won 5 straight. Canisius over Merrimack in an upset as Canisius was an 8.5-point dog. Cornell beat Yale 72-69 as Cornell pulls off the upset, moves into 4th place over first place, and now Yale and Harvard are tied for first with 2 games left. Harvard 58-56 over Princeton. Harvard's won 9 of 11. So, okay, a good college basketball night. Man, we're only going to cover 7 or 8 games. We're only going to cover the biggest games in college basketball here on Night Moves for this show anyway. Hope that's okay. But we'll start in the NBA. Thank you to the chat pros here with We Got a Fish Dude is here today. He's watching some of the world events here right now. And looks like, it's probably not over. And let's see, and Cal Dog is here. He's ready. He had Michigan as well. Okay, that's it. Got a couple dozen of you in here. That's good enough to start the show. Start with the NBA here, right? On Saturday. I think that's what we got to do. And I think we're actually going to only cover 4 of the games. We're kicking out the Pelicans and the Jazz. I'm sorry. If DeAndre was here, we'd do it. If DeAndre was here, we would cover the Pelicans game, okay? But we're going to go with 4 games involving teams that are likely headed, not likely headed. Look at this one. This is 2 teams totally hungry here in what feels like a pretty big game, almost like a playoff game almost between Portland and Charlotte here, right? I mean, you got Portland right now trying to move up, trying to get into the playoffs here. Right now, Portland in 9th place. They're 3 games behind the Warriors, but the Warriors still not quite healthy. And, Portland's looked pretty decent here. Charlotte, though, they've been so strong. And, they're not in the postseason yet here either, even though it feels like they should be. They're actually still 3 games out as well. And they also have to deal with Atlanta kind of in their little group. Even the Bucks are kind of battling here. They're trying to chase down the Heat for the most part, or Orlando. But those are the teams that are kind of in pursuit here in the East. So both these teams on the outside looking in, but they both could use a big victory here in this one. Look, Charlotte's playing a little bit better on the surface, it seems, right now because of this. They're still on a massive heater, it seems like. Portland, they seem to get it done against teams right now that they're expected to beat here, but this is still kind of a tough game, right? Because you got Charlotte that's been so hot here of late. They're only 29. Both teams are 29 and 31 right now, but Charlotte, they've won 3 in a row here. They even were hotter than that before the break. I mean, that's the thing right now with Charlotte. I mean, they've won 13 of their last 16. They've covered 6 straight games right now with wins over Washington, Chicago, and Indy. Hey, not the hardest schedule in the world, but that doesn't matter. When they played tough teams before that, Houston and Cleveland, and lost the game, they still covered the spread. So you just get a total effort, it feels like, from this Charlotte team. And not only that, you got one of the best players for Portland who's been battling injuries here right now, Denny Avila. Going to miss this one here, doubtful for this game. And Klingen's questionable. Shaden Sharp's still out right now. So, yeah, the injuries are kind of breaking Charlotte's way here as well. Charlotte looks like a playoff team, out there right now. I'm not sure Portland quite does. Portland did come in off of a win over Chicago. Hey, we were on them on the road in that game. We were saying, Chicago's a tankathon team and Portland's not quite. So Portland's actually covered 3 in a row here. They covered they won at Phoenix, covered at home against Minnesota in a loss, and then won at Chicago. So look, they've been pretty good, 20-15 against the favorite against the spread as an underdog. I'll spit it out. Charlotte though here, 12-6 against the spread as a favorite, 17-11 against the spread at home. Portland though has covered 6 of the last 7 meetings against the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte, though, man, they really look a little bit better. Yeah, it's 7.5. This isn't a tankathon situation. Charlotte is 9-19 to the under at home. They've gone under in 12 of their last 18. 5 of the last 6 meetings have gone under. However, Portland is a dead solid over here of late. 9-2 to the over in their last 11. However, they are 15-20 to the under as an underdog. So, hey, one thing we do here on Night Moves is if you wanted to comment in the chat, you put your comments in, and then I show it on the screen, give you a chance to put your picks on, similar to one of my chat pros here, Cal Dog, who likes the Blazers in this one. So, if any viewers out there wanted to have a pick with me, against me, I'd like to put your picks on the screen here and get you famous. Some of our best cappers have come. I was a chat pro once back in the day. I said, wow, this looks interesting. I think it was before the pandemic. I might have been a chat pro somewhere. I said, I could do that. I'm not sure I've proven it yet, but here I am every night. Hey, if you do the work, they will come, hopefully. Hopefully that's why I got you here joining me on Night Moves. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take Charlotte here in this one. Look, I love what the Blazers are doing, and I'm still willing to give the Blazers some of my money in some of the games to come. In this one, I just think Charlotte is playing just a notch above, the expectations here. 7.5. Portland is playing tough. They got a real good roster here, Portland. They've done a nice job this season, no matter how you look at it. You could have ditched this team out into the tankathon long ago, but they've fought hard, and I think that's a credit to their organization right now that they are a contentious team here, not like some of those sorry franchises that are trying to manipulate themselves into getting a better pick. Portland's built it with some good coaching here. Nice job, Portland. I'm going to take Charlotte in this one. All right, next up. Got the Rockets here taking on the Heat. Definitely an important contest here between playoff contenders in their respective conferences. The Heat are holding on. Like I said, they're holding on right now. They're up 2.5 on the Hawks, 3 on the Hornets, 4 on the Bucks, and they trail. They can still move up if they can get a little bit of momentum here, but they've lost 2 in a row. Meanwhile, for the Rockets, they're in position here in third. Now, look, going to the second place. No, they're trying to hold on to this third spot. They're tied right now with the Nuggets. Both teams here. Rockets are actually 1 game ahead in the loss column, but virtually tied here. Rockets are percentage points ahead in third. Nuggets are there. Timberwolves are there. Lakers are still more on the battling upward than downward in the standings anyway. But maybe you could say that the Rockets are just, like I said, get a top 2 spot. That's what you want to do. You want to have at least one home series, one home court advantage series in the playoffs. Houston's won 3 in a row coming into this one with wins over Utah, Sacramento, and Orlando. Even the loss against the Knicks, they covered. So they've covered 4 straight right now, have the Rockets. For Miami, they haven't looked that good here on the road. Their last 2 games got beat up by Milwaukee and Philly, but Miami's still done a decent job at home this season, 17-11 straight up. They are 17-11 also as an underdog, and the Rockets are just 22-30 as a favorite here. So, look, the Rockets have been a crummy favorite all season. The Heat actually still, get the money quite often. these two teams have not yet met this season. Rockets won here in Miami last year, 102-98 around this time, a little bit about 49 weeks ago in a low scoring game. I mean, I would think that's how this one could end up as well, especially with Houston. I mean, they're 23 and 29 to the under as a favorite, although Miami is 17 and 12 to the over as an underdog. For Houston here, they're just 1-8-1 against the spread versus Miami in the last 10 meetings. Miami's covered 6 of the last 7 at home against the Rockets. Look, the Rockets had, good run there. There was some question they were starting to slide a little bit, but they've kind of, recovered here still. But I think Miami at home. I'd rather take it here with the Heat right now. Yeah, Houston's 1 and covered 4 of their last 5 games coming in, but Miami here has gone over in 5 of their last 7 at home, 4 of their last 5 overall. Houston's been an under team of late, going under in 14 of their last 20. I'm going to take the Miami Heat here, plus the points against Houston in this one. All right, and T Smooth is here. He's talking soccer action tomorrow. Hey, I might have look. My one loss was on Aston Villa today. Villa didn't look good there on the road. They gave up the first goal in the second half. They couldn't score at all, then gave up a late one. That was my only loss yesterday over at Tony's, was a Premier League game. But I see one that interests me. Might have a tough getting up the confidence when I'm hitting it pretty well in some of these other sports. But I've looked at the soccer card. I'm taking a look at it here, getting involved early here for the action in Saturday's soccer action there. And we got obviously some pretty decent games here on Saturday. So I'm going to be possibly involved. But again, I think you look at the overall schedule for today over in the Premier League here. Let me just, I want to peek at it now because what's the feature there with Manchester City and Leeds, Brentford and Burnley. Oh, man, Sunderland and Bournemouth there in the early game here, just a few hours away. It is shaded to the over. How about that? All right, I guess that's going to do it for this one. Hello to Tim M in the chat as well here today, ready for some baseball. Hey, I was hitting the college baseball there yesterday. Not only with, I mentioned the one winner I had there with University of San Diego last night, but college baseball. Now, one of my games did get rained out. I was playing a rivalry game with South Florida's playing a total over there, but I'll be coming at it with some more college baseball. We did hit our other college baseball game on Thursday with Texas A&M -2.5 against Virginia Tech. They won it 10-0. I also tried to play South Florida and UCF, but it got rained out. So I don't know what you mean, Major League Baseball, but just to let you know, I might be coming in. All right. All right, Bill, the missiles are going the other way now, they said here with Iran. So we'll see what happens here. Hey, Israel's got an Iron Dome, don't they? So we'll see what happens here. Probably be up all night watching the news now. But hey, we got all that basketball. Okay, yeah, Tim, and they'll probably know I don't have any baseball coverage here tonight on the show. We got big events here. I'll be involved in college baseball on the website for sure, and no premiums for me just yet in spring training baseball. It takes a lot of factors to go together for me to play a premium in a preseason here. I know a lot of people find a lot of value, and I'm betting preseason, but really takes a special situation to get a premium from me here on Tony's Picks for a Major League Baseball preseason. Okay, let's take a look. I've averaged, I think, in the years I've been on the site, usually average a handful, maybe less than 5. Usually when they play the games closer to the major league, when they get in the major league stadiums, right at the end, that's when a premium comes in. Usually the roster's been kind of trimmed down a little bit as well. So there's a lot that goes into it. Okay, let me preview the next one here. We do have the Raptors taking on the Wizards here. And look, we got to talk Raptors basketball. I mean, no doubt. We get excited for their chances here for the postseason. They've been playing well here this season right now. And look, nothing's certain here just yet, but I think they're riding pretty good. I mean, they're probably finishing the bottom half of the 8 teams, but they're in 5th place right now, game and a half ahead of Philadelphia, trailing Cleveland by 2.5. So it might be right around that 5 spot for Toronto here, 34-25. Yeah, they're a 14-point favorite over the Wizards, but well, look, you don't need me here to waste your time on YouTube. I mean, I'm pretty much subscribed to the Tankathon. I mean, I want to give every team a chance. I want to look at every game up with an open mind. But right now, it just seems like all these Tankathon teams, they're not even covering here. Now, Washington has failed to cover in 3 straight games, playing teams similar to the Raptors, maybe just a notch down, but got blown out by Charlotte by 17, got blown out twice by Atlanta on the road. Toronto does come in off a couple of losses, but they played tough against OKC. I don't think they covered in that one, but they did cover they beat Chicago, they beat Milwaukee. Toronto did away with Chicago in a Tankathon team, and I think they do it again here. I'm going to lay the 14 points with Toronto. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm unabashedly still going with all these favorites here to continue to win by 20 points or so. Look, Washington did win the last meeting. It was in December at home here, 138-117. But I'm not worried about that right now. I have a totally motivated team in Toronto. They could be a little bit complacent. I mean, look, they're probably in the playoffs. But these teams are just playing so bad right now. And Washington does have some injuries, too, for their roster here. No doubt about it. Let me see who's out. Big list here of guys out. Will Riley, questionable. Keyshawn George, questionable. Vucevic, he's out. And other guys have been out for a while. Murray Boyles is doubtful for the Raptors here, but I'm taking the Raptors. I guess I could wrap a few play on words. Look at some of the trends here. Look, there might be some that kind of show Washington could. I don't think there are, actually. Toronto is 15-19 against the spread as a favorite. Maybe that would be the negative here, but Washington's 22-32 against the spread as a dog. Toronto's 17-11 against the spread on the road. They've covered 6 of their last 8. They've covered 7 of the last 9 against the Wizards, winning 12 of the last 16 meetings between the two teams. Washington just 2-6 straight up and against the spread in their last 8. They have gone over in 5 of their last 7 at home. Look, this one, I don't have any totals yet, but this one feels more like an under. Toronto's gone under in 5 of their last 6, and Toronto's 11-23 to the under as a favorite. So Washington does trend over a little bit, but as an underdog, they're just 27 up and 27 to the low. So I'm going to go ahead and take Toronto here in a blowout for sure in this one. Give me Toronto to blow out the Wizards here. You don't even need to watch the show. All right. Hey, Mr. Weskers is here. Great to have Mr. Weskers. All right. He says we're skipping the games. Well, you know what? We're skipping the game. We're skipping New Orleans and Utah. I mean, look, they're not. These teams aren't going to the playoffs. So, all right. So we're gonna look at one more here on Night Move. Okay, Cal Dogs on the over here with the Raptors and the Wizards. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. The Celtics game, that, like I said, that was my premium there. And even my write-up. I was off on the total, but if you watched the show last night, what I said in my write-up was I'm going over here, and I'm reading verbatim here from the website, my analysis. I'm going over here in this one with Boston and Brooklyn. This is going to be a big-time blowout here. The projected score is in the 114-96 range, but I think Boston will score well above that here. Well, they did. They scored 140 something in the game, 148 to 111. So look, that could kind of happen here, but I more or less I don't know if it will, because I think that uh, you know, Washington, I don't want to say they're playing any defense, but I think that Boston was just the thing about the Boston game tonight. That was a record-setting shooting performance by Boston. They have some new metrics. I don't look. I say I'm a metrics guy, but only because I have some power, and I kind of roll with them, right? But there are other guys who are metrics, and I don't. Hey, if they just say it, I believe it. Okay, but maybe it's a little rude, but the metrics, which a lot of the Sports Center, NBA.com, they have some new kind of shooting metrics, and they said that this was the third greatest shooting performance in the modern era, or something, like maybe since the turn of the century. I don't know, but whatever it was, Boston had a meteoric performance here on Friday night with their scoring. Something about the effective field goal percentage, maybe, or something like that. So I don't know what it was. I mean, teams have scored more points. Maybe they even had a higher percentage or something, but I don't know. Whatever it was, hey, they scored 148 points. Man, they were on fire, and I had the over. You better believe it. All right. Yeah, I can't go to bed now. As soon as I get off this broadcast, we'll be watching some more of the news here. Basically, Tony doesn't like me talking about it, but the president said, hey, to the people of Iran, you're going to have the ability to take over your own government, your own country again. Okay, here we go. One more. Lakers and Wizards, Warriors here. Now, this is actually a big game, because you've got the Warriors holding on right now in the Western Conference. They're in 8th place. Now, they are 3 games clear of Trailblazers, but they're not getting healthy. They're, still battling it with Curry here. Feels like some of the other guys also, I mean, they have won 2 of their last 3. The Lakers have lost 3 in a row. The Lakers are in 6th place, and it feels like they're sliding down too right now. Little finger pointing, but this is just the Lakers. They just love drama, and they'll end up bowing out first or second round somewhere in here. They're no good. Hachimura's doubtful. Steph Curry's out. KP's sick again. Here, Melton probable. Dre is probable here in this one. So credit the Warriors here. They're getting the points. I mean, this is probably a decent scenario for them as far as the situation is concerned. Obviously, you don't have Curry, you're a little bit concerned. But look, they beat Memphis. They beat Denver here recently as well. So as long as they got those other guys in there, I mean, they can play with this Lakers team. Although the Lakers are 21-14 against the spread as a favorite, the Warriors are just 8-10 ATS here as an underdog. Warriors are 19-11 to the over at home here, and look, what we've seen here with these two teams, they went under in a meeting here just about 3 weeks ago. It was 105-99. Lakers won at home, but oh man, I'm going to go over in this one as my play here on Night Moves. I'm not calling it a cop-out. I might like this game actually pretty strong here. I'm looking for a premium to keep it rolling right now. Anyways, Lakers are 2-5 straight up and 1-6 against the spread in their last 7. They've won 4 of the last 6 meetings with the Warriors, covering 4 of the last 6. Warriors are just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7, but 7 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams have gone over. The Warriors have gone over in 9 of their last 10 games at home. It would be the Lakers that are, kind of an under team, but in this role as a road dog. But I'm going to take the over here in this one with the Lakers and Golden State. And that's going to be it for the NBA. We're going to skip the last game. Okay. Here's Mr. Wesker wants to take the Warriors. Cal Dog's going over with me. All right, that's it. 4 games. We're going to look at that last game. DeAndre, you out there? If you were here, we'd look at the Pelicans and the Jazz. But okay, let's go to college basketball. It's going to be an awesome day. I wish I could do more games, but man, we've got like 12 games in the National Hockey League, and I've got to look at every game that involves. And that's the thing about the NHL; they got parity, and everyone's in the contention. I'm actually kicking a game out with the Devils. That you could argue that the Devils could ever start winning. Maybe they could, catch up in the playoffs right now. But come on, they're sitting there and next to last in the Metro. I mean, of course, they're ahead of the Rangers, but they trail, Philly. They'd have to go over Philly and Columbus. I mean, they're 11 points behind Washington. So I had to kick one game out there at least. I think every other game, though. I mean, you could argue there that the teams are in contention in every game, at least one of the teams. So. All right, let's go to college ball, though, and we're only going to look at the biggest games in college basketball tonight. There's some other big conference games, too, but, a lot of those, like I said, got to win the conference tournament. So let's just stick to what looks like the most attractive games here of Saturday, of course. Come on night moves. You got to go start here with Virginia and Duke at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific time. Important game here in the ACC. Look at all these teams are going to the postseason. We know that, but who's going to win the ACC right now? I mean, look, Duke is head and shoulders above everybody, aren't they? This has been a great season here for the Blue Devils and Coach Shire, not missing a beat right now. But Virginia only has 3 losses, and they're on fire too. Don't forget. I mean, I was, if you look down right, and everyone's talking about who is that 4th team. I mentioned it here. We know. Look, when you look at the top teams in the country, I think everyone's starting to believe Michigan, Duke, and Arizona. Who is that 4th team? Well, why is Virginia really so far overlooked in the metric sites? They have just 3 losses. They're in the ACC. I mean, they trail Duke by just one game in the standings. So it really does feel like Virginia's the overlooked team. Now, yes, their strength of schedule in the early season was weak, and they have a loss to Butler, who Butler's okay. They're not usual Butler here, but again, I feel like Virginia's continuously overlooked right now. They're getting 10.5 in this one. They're playing pretty well, man. They're on a winning streak too, taking on all comers. Covered against NC State, beat Miami, didn't get the money. Beat Georgia Tech, covered 13.5. Didn't cover against Ohio State in that non-conference game, but they won a easily distractible game there. Also knocked off Florida State, didn't cover. That's okay. Virginia's only an underdog for the 3rd time this season. They've won every single time they've been an underdog. They covered, obviously. So that might be something to take into consideration with the Virginia Cavaliers here. These 2 teams have not yet met this season. Duke does kind of own the series on them. Virginia did win one at home back in 2023, 69-62, but that was the last time they knocked off the Blue Devils. For the Dukies here, for the Dukies here, 16-12 against the spread, 12-10 against the spread as a favorite. But look at these 2 teams. Duke 6-12 to the under at home, 7-15 to the under as a favorite. Look, Virginia is playing more up tempo here right now, and yeah, usually when you see Duke games at home, I think this goes back to old school. I mean, I really do. I think Virginia knows at least what to do in this scenario here to kind of combat this. So let's see here, though, what you think in this one between Duke. I'll go to the chat. Let's see what the chat says. Oh, only one comment. Okay. It's Cal Dog. Virginia plus the points. Thank you, Cal Dog. Oh, man. All right. Maybe even sprinkle the money line here. Yeah, yeah. I'll take the under. I'm gonna go under with these two for sure. I believe we're looking at a game where both teams are gonna be hard pressed to get to 70 points in this game. I think it's Duke. Look, it's Duke that play. Yes, does Virginia play at this, a different style than what what we're used to with the, Bennett years and even before. Remember, Virginia was always that team, right? Oh, they just won 54-49. What a Virginia game. Well, now they play a little bit higher score. You know who's playing low scoring games? It's Duke. It's Duke, and who are you going to believe to play in a lower scoring game than the Duke Blue Devils? Although they just did put up 100 points against Notre Dame, but they won by 44. Remember, as the worst Notre Dame home loss in school history. The game against Michigan was 68-63. Why wouldn't that be the score here? They held Syracuse to 64. They held Clemson, another ACC stalwart here. This, Clemson. Clemson's had a decent year, 10-5. Yeah, they lost a couple here. Remember, they were threatening there for a while, but held them to 54. Held Pitt to 54. Yeah, Pitt's way down there, but I'm going under in this one. Virginia, they look. I think that's the one team. If Duke's probably going to win it, but look, another thing that happens, and sometimes in the big conferences, right? Duke's focus is winning the national championship, as all the teams are. But you get to the game, all of a sudden, here you go. These guys say Duke blows them out, or vice versa. Say Virginia gets a win, and then you go to that conference playoff game, and say Duke wins this one. They're at home, obviously. Virginia could have that revenge, right? So, all right, that's it. Let's keep it moving here. Awesome games tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to take the under. Okay, I'm going to talk about my San Diego State Aztecs here. I tried to say they aren't going to win the title, and they might not here. I mean, it's still in doubt. But they are playing the New Mexico Lobos here in the pit. I don't feel real great going into this one with the Aztecs, but they have a chance here. They are 2.5-point dogs against New Mexico here. It's not always a great place for San Diego State to play, I'll tell you that much. Over the years, they've come up with the win sometimes, but sometimes they haven't. And it does feel like here that the team is just not quite what they've been here in years past. They have the talent, they just haven't been able to form a nucleus. They've got some guys who, have bigger and brighter things on their horizon, I guess, and maybe they're just not, into the college thing here a little bit, and maybe not, going to take San Diego State, if they put their basketball shoes on and really went to it, they probably have the personnel to, go to the Sweet 16 again. They really do have some guys, but they haven't been on the court enough together. They mope a little bit as well, and you got New Mexico here at home here. San Diego State though is 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games on the road, but just 2-6 here in the pit in their last, or 2-6 against New Mexico in the last 8 meetings. New Mexico is just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. San Diego State's gone 6-3 ATS in their last 9. They've won 13 of 17 here right now, but I like New Mexico actually to win this game over San Diego State. San Diego State did win the game at home back in January, 83-79. They did not cover by 1 point as New Mexico got the win. When New Mexico hosted them here last year, New Mexico won 62-48 in that game. They held San Diego State down big time. And look at this thing, 148. Are you kidding me? Now, the Mexico has been an over team for sure this year. 10-5 to the over at home, 13-6 to the over on the road. San Diego State is not necessarily an under team like they have been in the past, but 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have gone under. I'm just going to take New Mexico here in this one. Give me the Lobos over my Aztecs. In the standings right now, San Diego State, they currently sit in second place here right now, just a half a game tied with Utah State. Utah State hosts Grand Canyon. They should be favored against them, but Grand Canyon's pretty good. We know they're mostly a home team, but Grand Canyon's 11-6 in conference play. So right now, Utah State, San Diego State tied for first. There is 3 games left in the regular season. New Mexico is 1 game back at 12-5. A win here, they move into at least a tie with San Diego State, and then they'd be either a game back or tied with Utah State if Utah State were to get upset. And that put Grand Canyon kind of in the sweep of things as well. All right. Okay, next up, we're going to the bubble a little bit here with Nebraska and USC. Right now, USC, they are in the first 4 out category here. They're probably about number 72, according to the ESPN bracketology this morning. So no matter what, this is a must, feels like a must win for USC here, given that situation. Now, Nebraska, things are obviously a little better for them. They're 24-4 right now, have an incredible season here. Now, Michigan's going to win the Big Ten. We know that, but Nebraska, for them, this has been historic for sure here. And they are favored on the road against this USC team that has had its moments, but they've also been beset by some injury woes. And, they haven't gone on, a wild streak or anything. And that's kind of why they're in the position that they're in here. I don't want to say it's the leftovers of Coach Enfield because, if Coach Enfield was here, they wouldn't be on a 4-game losing streak this time of the year. Okay, USC with consecutive losses to Ohio State, Illinois, Oregon, and the Bruins. Meanwhile, Nebraska consecutive wins over Penn State and Maryland. So take a look here at this one with the Trojans here, or USC. They are 6-4 against the spread as an underdog, but Nebraska's 6-2 ATS on the road. Nebraska's 9-19 to the under this season, 7-14 to the under as a favorite. USC 4-6 to the under as a dog. They are 9-6 to the over at home, but Nebraska dictates what goes on the court, it feels like. And hey, last year they met. Nebraska lost at home to USC 78-73. USC was a 7-point dog in that game, actually, and were able to pull off the upset there at that time. I'm going with the under in this one with Nebraska and USC. Give me the under here at 146.5. I'm going to go under. I just feel like Nebraska is kind of the under team here, and USC is not favored in this game. So I think their offense could be a bit suppressed here. I don't know if Nebraska gets the money here, actually. I want to give USC a chance right now in this game, but 5 points here. I feel better with the total. I'm going to go ahead and take the total here in this one. The key for USC is what will Chad Baker-Mazara, but I believe he's in the game. So I may want to check that. That's an injury worth checking. I know we don't do too many college injuries here, but I think Baker-Mazara is in the game here right now. I don't even see him on the injured list here. So that's good news. So that's pretty good news for SC. That might help me put them in the dog roll here. All right. And let's see. Cal Dog says Nebraska by USC. And Mr. Westwood says Nebraska is overrated. He says USC is going to mess around and win this game. All right. Well, Big 12 here with Kansas taking on Arizona. Second-ranked Arizona. Koa Pete is in. Speaking of injuries here in college basketball, one of the biggest of the season with Koa Pete. What can you say? I mean, they managed with without Pete for a few games here, winning 3 in a row coming in over BYU, Houston, and Baylor. They didn't cover 2 of them when they laid the points, but when they were a dog to the Cougars, they got it done. That was good. For Kansas here, have some concerning losses of late to Cincinnati, to Iowa State, After they kind of had a little bit of a shaky start to the season here, and they've kind of fallen back a little bit again, losing to some teams that they probably should have beaten or at least played a little better against right now. You see Kansas, look, for a moment there, you want to even give them a chance here to compete for the conference title, but right now it's Houston's to lose at this point after they beat Arizona's to lose after they beat Houston, of course. Last game, there's 3 games left, but a 2-game lead here for the Wildcats right now. For Kansas, they are 6-4 against the spread as an underdog, 7-5 against the spread on the road. For Arizona here, they're 16-12 against the spread, but usually the road is where they seem to fare a little better, even if they a few times they've been an underdog, and that's been a pretty good role for them. But Kansas is 9-19 to the under, 4-8 to the under on the road. These two teams met just a couple of weeks ago. Remember, it was 82-78. KU won at home. They were an underdog in that game, so that was one of the two Arizona losses there. Of course, they ended up losing to Texas Tech after that for their 2 losses, but it bounced back here now with the 3 consecutive wins. All right. For KU, they did beat Houston last time out, as we, I guess Houston is, Houston's the El Foldo between, again, right? You got to give them a chance here in the postseason, even if they fall short here right now in the conference standings anyway. But Coach, oh boy, don't want to be getting on Coach Sampson here, but a little bit tough here again for that Houston team. So Kansas are looking pretty good there. Let me get my play here in this one with Kansas and Arizona. I'm going with the under here in this one. Like I said, you got Kansas here is a pretty massive under right now at this point. And Arizona's been going under here of late, under in 7 of their last 10 coming in. So I'm going to try here and go with under 150 between Kansas and Arizona. All right, Mr. Wesker says it's got to be Arizona. Cal Dog says this is Arizona statement game at home. Get ready to rock them here against Kansas. Let's go to the SEC here for a great one. You got the top 4 teams in the SEC. I mean, I'd like to get into some of these smaller conferences today, but the ratings. It's all about the ratings. Okay. Anyway, nice to have a few dozen of you in here with me on Night Moves. Let's get to this one, though, with Alabama. Take it on Tennessee. SEC action here for Saturday. All right. Right now, Alabama coming in here 11-4. Florida leads. We're going to preview the Florida game. I mean, they're taking on Arkansas, but this is basically Alabama tied for second place with Arkansas. Both teams 11-4, 21-7, straight up coming into this one for Tennessee. They're 10-5 in conference play, 20-8 overall. Favored here are the Vols by 4.5. Over Alabama. Alabama comes in ranked 17th at 21-7. Tennessee, like I said, 28. They're ranked 22nd total here, 164.5 in this one. Alabama's 6-4 against the spread on the road. Tennessee's covered 6 of their last 4 overall, but Tennessee is just 8-11 against the spread as a favorite here. I mean, they're still 14-1 at home this season. They're, laying the points here, though. It does feel like sometimes Alabama can be competitive here. Tennessee not finishing necessarily. They lost at Missouri last time out as a favorite, 73-69. That did break their winning streak. They had some nice wins over Vandy, over Oklahoma, over LSU as well. So, Tennessee was on a good run, but that was a little bit of a surprising loss there. I mean, they were an underdog, remember, against Vanderbilt and won that game outright in Nashville. For Alabama here, they just crushed Mississippi State at home by 25 points. So, they did fail. They're on a winning streak, but they did fail at home at LSU, favored by 7.5. They won by 7. They were favored at home over Arkansas by 4.5. Remember, that was that wild 117, 115 double overtime game. They also failed against South Carolina. They won by 14 when they were favored by 17.5. So, look, when Alabama's been a big favorite, they don't always cover, but they did cover against Ole Miss on the road, laying 6.5 as well. So, man, this one, Alabama's playing some of these high-scoring games, man. They're 8-2 to the over on the road, or the Alabama Cribs that died. 5-2 to the over as an underdog. Tennessee's 11-7 to the over at home, and 11-8 to the over as a favorite. Now, and maybe Alabama does play a little bit higher scoring games at home. Maybe they're a little more comfortable. You know what I mean? You're always going to probably score a little bit more at home unless you're going up against elite. But 13 of the last 14 meetings between these two teams have gone under. So, man, is it still going to be kind of that Alabama, tempo here? Like I said, even Tennessee's going over. Tennessee's dominated this series. They've won 5 straight and 5 of the last 6 and covered 5 of the last 6 against Alabama here. It might even be a manageable number here in this one. Alabama's gone over in 5 of their last 7. They've won 7 in a row. Tennessee's won 8 of 10, 19 of their last 20 at home, dating back to last season. So I told you we got good ones here on Saturday. Alabama and Tennessee. Injury of note here, I believe. Let me see here. Alabama's LeBaron Phillips is probable. A lot was discussed here that he could miss this game, but he is going to be okay. That's really, would be a major injury if he was out of the game. So I think the spread is reflective of his participation here today. Masamba is out for Tennessee. This line is currently now up to 5 and 164.5. I got to go under with these two, of course. Come on, 13 of the last 14 here. This ain't going to be a SEC track meet. I am going under here in this one. All right, Mr. Wesker, is Tennessee easy? He says Tennessee is killing it right now. He's going to book them to win right now. Cal Dog, though, does take Alabama. All right, hope you guys think that's a good game. All right, next up, we'll get back to the SEC in just a moment. But first, we got to stop in with the Johnnies in Villanova. Yeah, Connecticut is, I probably shouldn't cover St. John's after last game. Now they even they're not even worthy. 40-point performance. Probably going to be a big bounce back here, don't you think, today? Villanova's been pretty awesome, too. So maybe they can come in, but it does seem like St. John's is going to be antennas pointed, antennas ready here for the Johnnies. It feels like after that disgusting 40-point effort against Connecticut, that really was a historic low point. It just shows that St. John's is not going to be ready for prime time. Coach, love Coach, but not going to be able to pull this one off. Might be able to pull this game off, though. They're 22-6, ranked 15th. Villanova's been strong. They're 22-6, unranked. Villanova comes in off of a win over Butler, but they did not cover at home. They were laying 10.5. They won by 9. They also lost to Connecticut here recently, 73-63 at home. They beat Xavier, didn't cover. They beat Marquette, didn't cover, but they're still 9-3 against the spread on the road this season. So they have performed well in the role here. They're also 5-3 against the spread as an underdog. St. John's not a big success story as a favorite. Really just 500 team against the spread for the most part in this role. St. John's is 9-15 to the under as a favorite. Villanova's 3-5 to the under as a dog. However, they are 7-5 to the over on the road. Villanova's a little bit more of an over team. These two teams did meet back in January, and St. John's won it 86-79 on the road as a 2.5-point favorite. Now, Villanova did win at home last year, 73-71 as a 2-point dog. But like I said, it feels like the ears should be pinned here for St. John's in this game, and maybe there is a little bit of a tax actually with St. John's here. They've won 6 straight at home, still won 13 of their last 14. Villanova just 1-4 ATS in their last 5 against the Johnnies. Even though Villanova's won 7 of 8, and that only loss, of course, was to Connecticut, they've gone just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. I've got St. John's in a blowout here to bounce back and crush Villanova here on Saturday. All right, and can St. John's even score? They missed their last, I forget now, was it last 24 shots, 29 shots? I think it was 24 shots, but hey, you want to say hello to BG Bandu? He's ready to go in the NHL. We're almost there. Just a couple more games here in the college ranks, and then we'll go to our big NHL card. Arkansas and Florida here back in the SEC on Saturday with Florida. 10-point favorite in this one. 7th-ranked Florida comes in 22-6 right now, and they're back to their they have been back to their Florida ways here for a few weeks. It feels like right now. Feels almost like no stopping these guys here at this point. This one at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific time with the Gators here. They've won 8 straight now, covered 11 of their last 14. Arkansas has won 5 of 6 and covered in those 5 victories. The only loss was actually they lost to Alabama and covered. They then beat Minnesota and failed the next game out. Arkansas, though, is just 4-13 straight up and 4-9 against the spread their last 13 games against the Florida Gators here. Florida is, like I said, I know I talked about a couple teams here. Florida, to me, might be that number 4. I know I'm talking about Virginia, too, but if you put those two teams up against one another, who would you take? So, just checking out some of the news here. Reports that Qatar has intercepted 2 Iranian missiles. That is a confirmed report from a CNN reporter. So it's on. All right. So, look, Arkansas is actually a pretty decent cover here. So Florida is 5-12 against the spread at home. Arkansas 7-3 against the spread on the road, 5-4 against the spread as an underdog. They're 19-9 against the spread overall, but usually it's as a home favorite when they've kind of muscled their way to that record. But like I said, Florida has had some issues covering some spreads, but usually they've been favored by too many. They couldn't cover 12.5 against Kentucky. They didn't cover 23 against South Carolina. And Arkansas has been playing well, but Florida may be, ready to really start turning it on here. There's no reason that they need to be totally motivated here to win by more than 10 points, but they might. Arkansas is 3-7 to the under on the road. Florida's 9-14 to the under as a favorite. But some of these games, man, they're starting to put up some big numbers. The Florida Gators, 84 against Texas, 94 against Ole Miss, 92 against the Wildcats, 86 against Georgia here right now. So tricky. I've got the Florida Gators in a blowout here over Arkansas. I like what I've seen from Arkansas. I'm not going to discount them for anything here. Look, they've had a great season. I mean, they are also right here with Florida. They're just 2 games back in the standings right now. But with 3 games left, here's Florida, a chance to, kind of put its title. They need to win another one, but pretty much seals the title here, at least to share the title. Here with the season with 3 games left here currently for these teams. So 2-game lead right now for Florida, and I think they put it on them here against Arkansas. Look, Arkansas is 21-7, man. They're having a good year. Everyone's down on this SEC. You just watch out. They're still the number 1 basketball conference right now, according to, kind of both considered metrics when it comes to the NCAA tournament, but I'll take Florida to blow them out. All right, here's a Cal Dog that's going to take Arkansas here. Mr. Wesker says he's trying to tell everybody about the Gators here and their great season. Look, they're a mediocre proposition against the spread, no doubt about it. But a lot of times, it was a lot of these, double-digit games. And again, you're looking at double digits here. I don't want to say some double digits are manageable. Arkansas is having a great year, and Cal Dog is well within his right to say that Arkansas can stay within double digits here. But just seeing Florida get away from some teams here right now, and I'm gonna side with a blowout here. All right, my computer over here is telling me Arkansas, but I'm going with the eye test. All right, I got one more here tonight. I'm watching a highlight here of Miami of Ohio's win. I saw that. Anybody see on speaking of college here, real quick, in college baseball? Oh gosh, what team was it? Oh no, I forget now. The team that they just had a player pass away the other day, and they won with a walk-off hit today. I guess it was guy's replacement. There, I don't know if it was one of his buddies, maybe. All right, one more here, and it's a big one in the West Coast Conference. Will Gonzaga leave the West Coast Conference as champions again? Of course they will. But remember, it's up to the Pac-12 next year for Gonzaga in all sports, except for football, of course. They don't play football. Both teams still come in here hot. So, look, there is a – what do they say? There is a script, or there's a map here for St. Mary's. Look, they've won this game before here with everything on the line. When they met Gonzaga before, now they are one game back here currently. Gonzaga 16-1, St. Mary's 15-2. This is the last game of the season. This is the last game for Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference in the regular season. And not only that, we'll start to lose some of them. This is the last big Saturday of games, right? By next week, we'll have probably lost about 40 or 50 teams in their eliminations in some of those early conference tournaments. But these guys could easily play again. Now, don't forget about Santa Clara, but for the conference title here, can St. Mary's do this at home, getting 2.5 points from the Zags here? Now, the Zags have come away with flying colors often still in this contest, but they're just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 meetings with St. Mary's. St. Mary's has covered 7 of their last 8. Gonzaga's covered 5 of their last 6. 8 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under. Not only that, Gonzaga is 9-18 to the under as a favorite, 10-20 to the under overall. St. Mary's, not a big under team, but this is only the 4th time they've been an underdog. They were under in 2 of the 3 other games. They've also gone under in 8 of their last 11. So this one's going under, and I'm going to take the under. But like I said, hey, if you want to take St. Mary's, I don't blame you. This might be the one. Gonzaga won them both last year, including here at St. Mary's, 58-51. All right, and they did win at home, 73-65, but they didn't cover in that one. Gonzaga actually did cover here. The total in that game, by the way, the 58-51 last year here, last March 11th, by the way. Oh, I'm sorry, the 73-65 meeting, that March 11th meeting was actually the postseason tournament game. Gonzaga won. The meeting here last year at St. Mary's was 62-58, still 120 points. So it's at St. Mary's. It's a low-scoring game. St. Mary's actually had won every game, or had a winning streak, had a short winning streak against Gonzaga. So it's never out of the question here. Gonzaga's also gone under in 5 of their last 6. So I'll go under. That's what I'm known for. But let's see what you got. The Cal Dog's going over. Damn it. Cal Dog. I just spent 3 minutes talking. Cal Dog, thank you always for being a great sport and bringing us some great picks. But you know what? I'll have a pick there probably on the side in that game as well. That's it for college basketball. That's not it. I mean, I've only got 5 pages of college basketball here to go over. We got so much college basketball here, but we got to look at the NHL. We got a big card, and NHL's on fire right now. Out of the Olympics, okay? It was a bad idea what the White House did. That was not what you're supposed to do. All right. Iran fires 4 ballistic missiles against American military bases. I'm going to see if we're not getting any confirmation of that. Here we go. All right. Let's get into it here in NHL on Saturday night. We got a great card. It begins early with, well, the Penguins and the Rangers. Okay. Hey, up 1 money's here for the hockey segment. Good. We need some hockey picks. Let's go. All right. Rangers and Penguins here. Look, hey, the Rangers are at home. You know what to do. Do I need to even go any further? Man, the Rangers already they've already blown a home game here since the All-Star break yesterday against the Flyers. Hey, we had the Flyers, didn't we, in that? Yes, we. Oh, no. I'm sorry. We had the under in that one. I did have the Flyers, another pick, but we had the under in that game between the Rangers and the Flyers. Definitely went under there yesterday, but just to note that I think the Rangers I'm pretty sure they were winning that game. Ended up on the short end of the scoreboard there in a 5. What was it? 5-2. Oh, wait a minute here. I'm looking at Thursday, you guys. But still, we have the Rangers in that game. That was Thursday. Did go under there. But anyways here, Rangers at home, we know they're just awful for whatever reason. They just can't win at home. They can't win, period, right now. They're on a losing streak coming in here out of the break. Lost to Philadelphia 3-2 just a couple of nights ago. Like I said, the game actually went to overtime, but it was at one point the Rangers were ahead 2-1 after 2 periods and blew it. And Pittsburgh, meanwhile, continues to play pretty hot here right now. Coming in, they won here. Oh, let me fix poor old Skinner's name there. There we go. Pittsburgh here beat New Jersey in their first game back from the Olympic break here. So, this is kind of their good role too. They're 16-7 on the road. Are the Pittsburgh Penguins here? Pittsburgh has lost 8 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams, but the Rangers have lost 7 of their last 8 at home. They're the worst home team, I think, in the league. Anyway, they're only down at home this season. What are they down 15 units at home this season? Pittsburgh's up 6.5 units on the road. This is where they're at their best. So at $1.25, I'm taking Pittsburgh here. I don't think we get too. I don't even need to go deep into it. Rangers are 6-15 at home straight up. They're 11-22 as an underdog. It's been a disastrous season, and this isn't a good matchup, even with Igor. Okay, let's see here. Right, Tim? I don't think a lot, we're trying to assess the situation still, right? But we know it's going down, I think, here. Feels like it's going down. All right, Cal Dogs on the Penguins. Up 1 money. Great call on Michigan yesterday. Man, that was a good call. Illinois, look, it should have been obvious. It should have been obvious to me that they were heading downhill. All right, next up here, Bruins and the Flyers here in this one. The Bruins come in here 33-20-5. Philadelphia is 26-21 and 11. Both teams have won here out of the break right now. Philadelphia beat Rangers. Actually, they lost to Washington in the first. They've already played 2 games. Boston here beat Columbus 4-2 at home in a nice effort. Last time out, Boston won back in January 6-3 at home over Philadelphia as their only meeting of the season so far between these two teams. Boston's won 10 of their last 12 against Philadelphia overall. They've won 11 of their last 15. Philadelphia's won just 4 of their last 17 coming in and just 1 of their last 7 at home, and they're favored in this game. Okay, maybe it is time for Philadelphia to get things going here right now. Look, they're in desperate mode here. They're several points out of the playoff chase here right now. Boston, they feel like they've got to keep the pressure on too. Boston's usually terrific at home. They're just okay on the road, but I got to take Boston in this one against Philadelphia right now. They own this team, and I think this is a good spot for them. I'm going to take Boston here. They were playing much better than Philly right now out of the break. All right. But Up One Money doesn't trust the Bruins on the road, but he thinks Philly's trash. So next up, afternoon contest here, Edmonton and San Jose. Wow. This game's going to be 6-5 probably. But watch out. Now, San Jose is on a losing streak, but you still remember, yes, they were struggling there towards the end. They probably needed a break. They were on such a rush. They're still the most profitable team in the NHL right now, despite the little bit of a skid. Actually, they're kind of tied with Boston, but still at home up 6.7 units. The Oilers on the road, forget about it. Edmonton on the road down 6 units. They're down over 11 and third units overall here. So I don't know. I kind of would rather take the Sharks here probably as an underdog in this one. Maybe the over might be better because look at what happened to the Oilers the other night when they played Anaheim, lost that game 6-5. Yes, Anaheim's got a juggernaut offense here, but Edmonton, they're just involved in all these score fests, it seems. Edmonton's gone over in 4 of their last 5 and 4 of their last 5 on the road. San Jose's gone over in 9 of their last 12, although 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Edmonton has beaten San Jose in 7 straight games, so maybe this is the spot that Edmonton gets right. They've already beat the Kings here. They lost to Anaheim. They came back and beat the Kings, remember, 8-1 after that 6-5 game, so that was a lot of goals too. I think this one's probably going over, but I want to take San Jose to get back here. Edmonton still, even though they won, they finished the first half with 3 straight losses and lost to Anaheim, then beat the Kings. So let me see here what if you guys are in the chat. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Yeah, San Jose's gone under in 8 of their last 11, but Cal Dog's on the under, but Up Money's on the over. Okay, you guys are on the total. I'll take San Jose in this one, but I think this is over city, right? I think over, but my official play here on the show is going to be San Jose. Cal Dog likes over. Oh wait, okay. He was on the under in that other game. Okay, gotcha. He was on the under in the Bruins game. Okay, I've actually skipped the game between the Devils and the Blues. So next up's the Islanders and the Blue Jackets. Here, this one, you definitely have an Islanders team here, riding pretty good right now. Probably going to the playoffs. Got to keep it going here. Columbus, meanwhile, they're on the outside. They've got to step on it. But look, Columbus has been playing very, very well. So have the Islanders, no doubt about it. Islanders come in here off of a win over Montreal. They also won their final 2 games out of the break. Islanders are 24-15 as an underdog this season, one of the best. But Columbus is 15-4 as a favorite right now. Yeah, they are favored here a little bit. Look, Columbus, sometimes you don't necessarily want them as a big favorite against bad teams, but here they are laying a decent price. I know the Islanders can be tough. These two teams met in December. It was 4-2. Columbus won it at home. Back in November, it was the Islanders winning 3-2 at home. So they both have won on their home ice here so far this season. The Islanders are 12-19 to the under on the road and 17-22 to the under as a dog. However, Columbus is 12-7 to the over as a favorite. I think I want to just stick to the side here. I think Islanders have been awesome, but Columbus has been really strong here of late. They've won 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams here in Columbus. In fact, the last 2, they won 6-1 last year here at home. And like I said, 4-2 earlier this season. I'm going to take Columbus here at minus $1.25. All right. Up One Money. Thank you, Up One Money, for taking the Blues in there. And I know I skipped that game, but hey, you know what? That's our no playoffs for those teams game of the day. All right, Cal Dogs on the Islanders. All right, next up, Blackhawks and Avalanche here. Gonna get. We're not gonna ignore the Avalanche though. Things aren't necessarily wrapped up for them or anything. They're just still here, cruising along. Yeah, they're 5 points out of Minnesota right now, and still first place. Still cranking out a great record here right now. Colorado Avalanche, best record in the league. But Chicago, on the road, they are 10-13-4. This is a $3 price tag here. I'm going to be on Chicago. I'll tell you that on the puck line here in this one. Look, Colorado's been great. Yeah, Chicago was kind of going a little bit haywire there, it felt like, there at the end of the first half, and they've already lost to Nashville here on the road 4-2. But at 3.15, I'm even seeing some of the square books even higher right now. I'm just going to take a goal and a half at plus money here with Chicago. I'm going to take Chicago plus 1.5 at even money or better here against Colorado. Chicago's 36-19 as a puck line underdog. I mean, come on, that's uncanny. Colorado 29-27 as a puck line favorite. So, look, I think that might be worthy of their position here as a little bit of a puck line favorite, $1.25 currently on the puck line minus here for Colorado is up to a 350 favorite. I think that's all. I'm just playing the money. I'm just playing the move, playing the line here on this. I'm not telling you that Colorado doesn't come out and maybe they win 4-2, but I just think given the circumstances here, and Colorado did lose 4 of their last 5 games at home right now. They have beaten Chicago in 7 of the last 8 and 9 of the last 11 in Denver. Actually, Colorado's won 15 of the last 20 overall between the two teams. 10 of the last 11 meetings between these two teams have gone under, and Chicago's gone under here as well in several games of late. They're also 25-30 to the under as a dog. So I'll take Chicago here. Probably, I'm going to say it's going to be 3-2. All right, we've got here Up One Money said 315, right? Up One Money at a big time square shop offshore, it's already up to 350. Let me see if there's any other books. Actually, this was typed in here as I was watching some volleyball earlier. Some men's volleyball. Yeah, the DK 345. Some Vegas books here have 350 as well. Okay. Richie Rich says 5-2 Colorado to rock Chicago. Cal Dog likes the under there. Up One Money going under as well. Next up, it's those Buffalo Sabres here on the road, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And what a matchup. I mean, Buffalo, nothing's stopping these guys right now. Not even a trip here. Look, they're $2 dogs here to Tampa Bay. Don't they know the Buffalo Sabres? 34-19-6. They've already come out of the gate here, firing already, beating New Jersey, beating Florida. Nothing's stopping the Buffalo Sabres. Tampa Bay's been awesome here, but they did lose the other night at Carolina, 5-4. They opened with a win over Toronto. Look, they're still Tampa 19-9 at home, 31-16 as a favorite, but Buffalo 18-13 as an underdog here. And look, this puck line is not awful at $1.35 here. I'm going to take Buffalo on the puck line here, plus a goal and a half. These guys have been awesome. Tampa Bay did win back in February 3rd, 4-3 at home in their first meeting of the season. So that was a close one. Tampa Bay won it. It was overtime. And here they are right back again, taking them on here. Buffalo is 13-18 to the under as an underdog. Also, for Buffalo here, they are. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Just got. I think my mouse is dead. I think I got to change the battery in my mouse. The trends portion of our program might be over. All right, that's okay. I'm taking Buffalo here. Major alignment. Okay, we got some comments anyways here. Lightning for up one money. Cal Dog though on the Sabres. Under for up one money. And Richie Rich likes Tampa in a blowout. Okay. Mr. Weskers hates when they pull the goalie. Next up, Caps and Canadiens here in Montreal with the Caps on the road. Look, it's okay here for the Caps right now. They definitely need to keep winning here. Currently, looks like they'll probably get in here. Montreal, same thing. Both these guys right on the edge. Got to keep winning here. Big important game for both teams right now. Montreal at home, $1.50, maybe even a little higher, 6.5 under 20 in this one. Washington been picking up steam here. 2 wins out the gate over Philly and VGK. Now they are just 7-13 as an underdog. Meanwhile, Montreal 16-11 at home, but they lost to the Islanders at home last time out. They blew that game, I think, 4-3 overtime. Montreal did jump out to a lead in that game, but the Islanders kind of came back on them. All right, for the Habs here, they've won 8 of their last 11 at home, won 4 of their last 6 overall, but Washington has won 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams. Washington's gone under in 5 straight coming into this one, and it is a 6.5 up there right now. These teams aren't overwhelming over teams, although Montreal is 17-12 to the over at home, and 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams have gone over here. But Washington has been dominating this series of late. They've won the first meeting here in January 3-2 at home. They also won here in Montreal in November 8-4. Washington does kind of have the Habs number. They also won the previous 2 meetings back from last year's playoff round. Remember when Washington eliminated the Canadiens there as well. So they do kind of hold that on them here. And if you look at the standings right now, Washington is the better team anyway. They're on 69, or no, Montreal's on 73 points and Washington's on 69 points. Sorry about that. Washington down 6 units on the road. Montreal a break even proposition at home here. All right. Do you guys have anything in the chat with this one? Good game. Wow. Up one money says, oh man, getting the Caps at plus money here. Mr. Wesker says he'll be rooting for the Canadiens. And Cal Dog on the Canadians, but up one money does like Washington. Wow. Yeah, so this one little bit sketchy here, huh? Can Montreal kind of snap this streak against the Capitals here? All right. Oh, let me make my call here in this one between Washington and Montreal. I'm going to take the Washington Capitals to win this one on the road. Next up, the Wings on the road here, taking on the Hurricanes. Hurricanes, $1.85 now, coming in here, 37, 15, and 6. Detroit, 34, 19, and 6. Carolina's out the gates here good in the second half with the win over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, 5-4. Carolina came out with a win. Detroit also won their first game out of the Olympic break, 2-1 over Ottawa. It's Carolina that comes in here hot here right now with a bit of a winning streak here for the Hurricanes. Before the win out of the break here, they had won consecutive games also against LA, Ottawa, and the Rangers. Carolina's won 6 of their last 7 and 9 of their last 10 at home. Detroit just 2-7 their last 9 against Carolina. Detroit's gone under in 5 of their last 6 and under in 6 of their last 8 games on the road. However, Carolina's 21-11 to the over at home. I got to go over in this one. 8 of the last 12 meetings between the two teams have gone under, but I've got the over here in this one with Carolina. That's my first total. Wow. Going over here at 6. Over at -120. Next up, Senators on the road taking on the Maple Leafs. And you look at this one, you could argue here, especially right now, Toronto in last place, but Ottawa, they're still battling this one. I almost kicked out of there too. Probably should have here, try to, at least look consistent here with this situation. But I'm trying to give Ottawa a chance here. So far for Ottawa, look, they lost last game here out of the break, 2-1 to Detroit. Toronto, meanwhile, already 2 losses to Tampa Bay and Florida. They're kind of going El Foldo here right now. They're in last place. They're not going to get anything going. Toronto has lost 5 straight at home, 8 of their last 11 overall. They've also lost 6 of the last 9 at home to Ottawa, but they've actually won 5 of the last 7 meetings overall, including back here in December. Toronto won at home 7-5 in that game. I mean, this probably reeks of goals too. Toronto's 18-13 to the over at home. Ottawa's 18-11 to the over on the road. They've gone over in 12 of their last 18 road games, although they've gone under in 4 of their last 5 overall. Still, we're just coming out of the break here. So give me the over here in this one with Ottawa and Toronto. Probably could have skipped that one. Okay, up one, he says doesn't like what he's seeing anyways from Toronto. Cal Dog like the Red Wings back there. All right, let's keep it going here. Flames and Kings in LA. Flames come into this one 24, 27, and 6. LA 23, 21, and 14. But the Kings slumping right now. Kings already here with 2 losses to VGK and Edmonton to open the second half right now. Is it no end in sight? It feels a little bit scary here for the Kings. They're really falling apart. Calgary's won 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams as well, despite the fact they've lost 6 of their last 9 overall. They opened with a win over San Jose on the road. So Calgary also beat San Jose before the break, and they beat Edmonton their last game before the break. Calgary's gone under in 7 of their last 8 on the road. 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams have gone under, and Calgary's gone under in 10 of their last 15 games overall. Calgary just 9-17 on the road here, but man, the Kings just can't handle these guys for some reason. Cal Dogs on the over. I'll take the Calgary Flames here to win on the road in this one. Give me Calgary tonight. Kings need to find a way. Next up, Predators here at the Stars, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific with Nashville on the road as an underdog here. Look, for Nashville right now, I'm not saying that they're totally done. They're definitely chasing the playoffs still here. Stars comfortably in the playoff picture here, and they've won 7 straight games. Look, might be a little on the cheap here with $1.50 right now. Getting a Dallas team at home that did open here with a win over Seattle 4-1 convincingly. Nashville, meanwhile, did beat Chicago 4-2, but I like the Stars here in this one. Dallas is 17-7 at home, 26-17 as a favorite. Nashville 15-25 as a dog. Hey, I know it's a pretty big favorite here, but we've taken some dogs on the show here, some toss-ups. I'm going to take the Stars here, minus $1.50 in this one. A little trappy, says Mr. Weskers. Here's Cal Dog, likes the Stars. Up one money, says you got to bet the Kings at over at home. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure I want it. Up one money went over. Okay. One more, and Seattle keeps this Vancouver team in the conversation because Seattle, looks like they could make the playoffs here for sure. Going to have to battle with the Kings, but the Kings are going downhill. San Jose kind of losing sight here, but Seattle, $1.65 or so. They probably should win this one. Vancouver just 14-33 as an underdog this season. Seattle 14-9 at home here. Also Seattle, only a puck line favorite for the 7th time this season. Vancouver's only 26-21 as a puck line underdog. Seems like good money here for Seattle, and I'm going to take Seattle for a puck line win tonight. $1.65 is fine, but look, I'm on this show. I love attention. Give me Seattle here on the puck line, minus 1.5, plus $1.50 or more here. I'll take that plus money with Seattle to get a puck line win here tonight against Vancouver. If you look at the total, Seattle's a total under right now, 9-19 to the under at home. You could consider this. I would think they're also 1-5 to the under as a favorite. Remember, I said only the 7th time they've been favored all season. They've gone under in 5 of those. Look, the total's 5.5 for a reason. It feels like in this game. Although 13 of the last 16 meetings between the two teams have gone over, including 6 of the last 8 games here in Seattle between these two teams have gone over as well. Vancouver's lost 8 straight on the road and 8 of the last 11 to Seattle and 18 of their last 20 games overall. All right, I hope I did you a solid here on Saturday. We're going to move out of here, and I'm going to put up my UFC picks right now over at Tony'sPicks.com. Head on over to Tony'sPicks.com. Take a look at our best bets over at Tony's Picks, including mine here. I'll be getting ready in the UFC. Mills has already got his up there, so check out the handicapper leaderboards and see who's hot in the MMA. You got Millsy up there. Look at that. Last year for Mills up 22 units, and look at Vegas Al up here already, 5 units in MMA. I'll be up there firing away tomorrow. Right now, I'll be firing away in the MMA. Go to the upcoming games. Look at everybody locked and loaded with their plays here for Saturday. So make sure you get involved with us over here at Tony'sPicks.com. Remember, I'm the hot handicapper right now. 7-1 yesterday. Also for the last month, I'm 102-77, good for 17.75 units. And so far on the year, I'm up 11.75 units. So make sure you're rolling with me over at Tony'sPicks.com. All right, well, that's going to do it here for Night Moves. Really appreciate you. We'll be back here tomorrow with more action on Sunday here with Night Moves. And, I've got to go watch the news now, see what's going on. Prayers up to everyone involved, and I haven't heard the last of that. All right, that's going to do it here for Night Moves. Catch you tomorrow here at 3 a.m. Eastern and midnight Pacific. For the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the 50,000 subscriber juggernaut, I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Night Moves.